back for part 2 on this defense tower. Took a look at it for a little while, trying to figure out what to do with it. Now, what I'm seeing already is that a lot of these solar panels are going to be shaded and not be effective. Then I was also, looking at the fact that there's 11 blocks between these two beams on the sides. So rather than one stretch of solar panels, it could probably do two, and it would probably be better off if it was extended out a little bit further. So that's quite a bit of modification, but let's get busy on that. So what I'm going to do to start with, to save a little time, is to take a chunk of solar panels here, down another block, and we'll cut those, and I'll paste them again. And what I want to do is I want to move them out another square. And then move it over to the edge of the column. And then do that to the other side as well. Currently, I don't think I'm going to work with symmetry on. Once this side gets done, it'll be copied over to the other side. So that gives us more solar and a little bit better lighting on the solar. So that we get 12 per side this way, and that might be extended to, I'm sorry, 6 per side. Could add 2 more as well, going out to the sides. Alright, so let's get this squared away here a little bit. A little lip there. Where did my block go? Don't know. We'll find out later. Alright. Now, regardless, the solar panels are going to be weak, and that's just for keeping power costs down. This thing will have generators and fuel and things like that. So if someone was assaulting this particular tower, taking out the solar panels is not going to hurt it in a fight. Okay, so we came down like that now. Now I'm thinking I want a little side trim on this. So let's try to angle that a bit though too. Well, maybe I should have had symmetry on, huh? Let's see. Let's go symmetry the other way. Right there. Okay. Let's fix up this part here a minute. This has to go a little ways here. I do think this will be a better plan though. Probably cut the solar panels on the other sides, which are really shaded. They wouldn't work very well at all. Go up one more. Okay, then get you in here. And I want some kind of real flat across the sides there. Okay, so I like that better already. I think it would work better too. Now another thought would be to add a ground, like a ground-based turret on all four corners over here that extends out from this part or this part. I actually could put two. Not a bad plan. Alright. From this point, I think we're going to go right down to the ground with this. That gives us good support beams as well. Well, maybe not. Now it does. Okay. So, if we're going to have a turrets off these other sides, you know, that's kind of cool. That will work, I believe. Let's make a little lip here. I'll start that in here, though. Once I get going with this fair amount, I'll bring it into space and make sure everything is set up right with these columns, etc. So now I almost have like a garage down here. Kind of cool. So let's see. What if we, oops. Now what if we ran out something like that and slapped in another turret, another set of 4 turrets in total along here. That kind of works. I was thinking also as another turret could be on the underside here. Maybe just put a marker in here for now. Let's get kind of low. Probably don't need to extend that down. Yeah. Waste of resources. Still not sold on that, but it would be effective shooting this direction and this direction, at least at a distance. Let's grab some more placeholder turrets. These will all be redone before it's done on like what turrets are going where and whatnot. This is just to get an idea. Alright, so that makes it a little rougher for HVs coming in at it. Um, and a lot of turrets that could shoot. And it's even more devastating if you come in at an angle, because then you've got all those other turrets able to shoot you. And this isn't even half of it yet. The intent, one side thing I wanted to be able to do with this defense tower is if I make it strong enough and miserable to take on, it would be a very good test for, you know, future SVs and HVs to see how they can contend against something like this. I hope, I don't know how it would work out, but I hope it could defeat anything I've made so far, any single one item, even like the Gigantes or whatnot. And I hopefully can do it pretty easily. I'm not sure though. I mean, those tanks can take a lot, but if it just gets pounded on, especially a lot of the fire might be coming from above, which most tanks are set up for they have heavy front defense, but if they're getting pounded from the top and all over the place, they may not fare as well. Hard to say. Okay, so cosmetically speaking, I do want to make a bevel going the other way again. Just think it looks kind of cool. I don't really want to fill this in with a lot of floors, a lot of interior space and things like that. It's not really a player base. It could be, maybe. It's big enough to do something like that, but not sold on that turret there, though. It doesn't look visually cool to me at this time, at least. Okay, so if these were gone, that would give us 12. I do want at least 2 more solar panels, but I don't have any idea on where to put them yet. Can't really extend this out more. I wouldn't really want to. But this side is freed up, so all this is waste now. So what I was also thinking too is to level this out a little bit better and make a landing pad here in the center. Maybe block off the sides, because it's pretty thin there anyway, but coming in this direction, it's 11 blocks wide. It could fit most SVs in there if the landing pad was big enough. So basically a restocking. If you want to fly into this thing and land, maybe restock on some items, fill it up with ammo, fuel maybe. You'll have a spot to do that, but not at this time, at least ground accessible. Again, I'll be copying the one side over to the other side, so don't care about that side currently. Now the structure's kind of boring yet, but you know, this isn't about looks really on this one. This is really about function. I'll try to dress it up, of course, you know, before it's all said and done. But right now, it's pretty normal. You know, I could still plop in a couple solar panels on this side, but I would want them to come out further. It does have a 5-block area here yet. I also could tilt the solar panels differently too. Let's try that a minute. I guess the question is, would these be effective? It would be effective, of course, if the sun was on its side on the horizon. That's about it. So I still think it would be more effective tilted the other way. Oh, look at that shadow. But this side is open. How about that just get extended out a little bit more? Less shadow. Alright. And this part here. I don't think that this will work, but no, that's not a good angle either. I guess my only problem with the tilting now is this doesn't line up very nicely. But we'll mod that. Just trying to keep some kind of consistency on this too, on how it's built, so it doesn't look like one side's like totally wacky different from the other side. So this is an interesting junction here. One of those, like, how do I join this angle to that angle? Actually, it's not going to be too hard in this case. Now, before it's all said and done, too, I'm going to go through this and try to get rid of unnecessary blocks that don't do much, or replace them with a cheaper material. But it is a defense tower, and defense is paramount, so that is like the first thing to be concerned about. Alright, I think that's a little more effective. It does cause this gun not to be able to shoot that direction on that row, but the ones above it still can fire that way, which is good. Alright, so let's get this part in the middle here. finalized a little bit better. And I think I might just keep it hollow in the middle too. So no sense filling all that in, unless of course it is decided to put all your generators and all that stuff down under here and maybe make this a couple layers thick. That's a good possibility too. Or that could be up on a higher floor. Alright. I'm actually kind of steering for the higher floor idea. I haven't done any curves in a while. Another thing is, should I even bother putting a floor underneath these solar panels? I mean, they're vulnerable. This thing's got very little hit points. But if you shoot them out, obviously they won't work. But is there any point on, using a bunch more resources to make it solid underneath them? In this build, I really don't think so. Maybe on this bottom row because I got a turret there, at least one for now. But thinking they could just be left open. And then over here, this area here would be actually the guts of the tower, elevated off the ground, and probably accessible somehow from the landing pad. That's one other concern. What if you come flying in here with a SV really fast, jump out, and then get inside this thing and take out the core? Got to make absolutely sure that that doesn't happen. Or you could really fill this area up with sentry guns too, just so it's just death. I mean, you get out of your ship and you're just going to get pounded upon. Maybe even a turret or two that could shoot inward. Now, one other aspect too is, what if you assault this from directly above? These turrets, I don't think, can angle good enough to shoot straight up, so that would require some other turrets facing a different direction. Alright, so these side here should be, and you know what? Get some other turret opportunities over here. Maybe above the solar panels. Yeah, that would work. Maybe even another tier above it. Let's make a little bevel out here for this one. We'll keep it straight for now. I can already say I won't want to mess with this thing, even though it's far from done. I'm not sure if it's going to be quite as tall as I originally said. I was thinking about that. I'm like, man, you don't want this thing to cost a fortune. Now, having this much turrets on it, it's going to be pricey anyway. This material's not super cheap, although it doesn't use iron, I believe. So let me just verify that. There's quite a bit of iron being used. That could be all in turrets, so I'll look at the stone count though. And it looks like I'm totally wrong on the Sathium. For some reason I thought this armored concrete took Sathium. It doesn't. That's good to know. I guess to build something like this, you'd want to definitely be mining a lot of stone, though. Although it's pretty easy to do, but it gonna need a lot. All right, so yeah, this new side here is pretty cool now. Don't mind it. Add a little cosmetic stuff here. Make these supports stronger. Prettier too. So now these things here, I guess they're really not that bad. Kind of wondering though if it would be worthwhile to do another one that comes out from this way, or plop one right down on the sides here. Well, we already got that. All right. So inside of this area, and let's say this is the landing pad. It's a little light though. It's not very deep. I'm going to copy this thing real quick and make sure it's uniform on both sides. So let's just grab it pretty much at the halfway point. Not being too accurate with this, it's just a mass copy, so. Yeah, Guess I'm being somewhat accurate with it. This will mess up some of the turrets that are in there, but that's all right. I'm too far in. Definitely. Oh no, I'm not. I'm too far out. Okay, so right there. Alright. Let's shift this again to a different angle. I can't say it's terribly pretty, but hey, worry about looks later. And pop in a couple more of these back. Okay, so this is running 14 solar panels now. It's probably where it'll stay. I can add one more, but man, that's that oddball. It's always that oddball. I don't know why they chose 15 as a limit. 16 would have worked much better. So now, artilleries. Thinking that probably ought to extend these columns more and then put the artilleries up here somewhere. Preferably between the two columns on the side so they got very good support. I guess that would allow for more of these outer gun positions too, which I like those. I mean, honestly, if they went all the way up that way, that would work pretty good because they got a nice range of view. Um, I think they're far enough apart where if you're targeting this one, you're not going to blow up the one next to it. And also, you could run turrets on the bottom side of these things too, or separate these, space these out a little bit more so you could get more bottom side turrets. And that's something I'm definitely thinking about too, because um, if there's more on the bottom, you come in with a tank or something that's going to have a lot more effective firing range, especially when you're close. Like here, these turrets are not going to be able to shoot you. If you're hanging out here, these guys will be able to, and maybe some turrets that you're not even seeing, and even the ones on the other side of the base. Perfect. Okay, so now artillery mount positions. kind of keeping these eased back in a little bit so it doesn't block these guns from shooting up at that angle. So, okay, so say hypothetically we have a couple artillery sitting here. That would work out pretty good. Now I am thinking about running, well, no, I can't. That landing pad disrupts that. I was thinking about putting another column up here connecting this area, but then that'll block the entry to this point. There's just something to try. What if we ran out and popped in? I don't know. Not sure if this landing pad idea is a good idea or not, quite frankly. Kind of disruptive. So as in the columns here, I guess I wanted the artillery more or less on top so they can get a full range of view, short of shooting exactly where the other artillery gun is. But then I would want to stop my column from going up any further. There. Could add one more row here, but I'm trying to think of, I think it does need some guns up here. Maybe tucked away nicely. That actually kind of works for extending the landing pad out a little bit too. Not a bad thing. Yeah, now you got a landing pad big enough for... Oh, never mind. That's up top. Well, could always add more guns. Restock for now. Start to do a count too. See how many extra. So on the very bottom, got 8 wrapped around. Oh, I take that back. 10. Going up these, we've got additional, let's see, 16 on the sides. Looks like another, will be another 6. 10, 16, and 6. So 26, 32. That might do it. Let me just double check that a minute. So we got 12, So that's 22, 32. Yeah, that's it, 32. And then the 2 artilleries, and then we'll find places for these sentry guns. So actually, yeah, that does it up for turrets. Problem is I don't have anything that's firing upward at this point. Or not maybe enough downward either. So what if take out a couple of those and place them like somewhere around here. And I guess this would require some testing too, because I'm not sure what will happen if you come flying in from over here. I mean, what's going to be able to shoot you? I don't 100% know if these things can tilt enough, or the angles will be able to get up there, or if it's just going to be vulnerable how it's sitting right now. I guess it'd be some easy mods, though. I could always add in some you know what? Let's just do that over here. We've got a lot of height on the top. And let's say we had something like that. Kind of odd. Huh, yeah. This thing is definitely going to need some testing, which could be a lot of fun if I could get this set up as like an enemy faction, loaded up with ammo, and then start attacking it with various items to see how it fares. I think that could be another whole testing episode to see how effective would this design actually be. All right, well, this is kind of part 2 on this. Got it a little bit better now. Oh, you know what? Did I even count these turrets over here too? Man, this thing can hold a lot now. Yeah, I'll have to do a count, make sure I don't exceed any limitations. Might actually end up cutting a couple turrets off this. I think that probably did exceed it. As in sentry guns, maybe I'll get those placed real quick too. Mainly concerned about protecting this area where you would land pretty heavily too. Not sure if I should keep the, you know, if I tuck these things in, and I do like these, even though I don't want to retract them, I like this model because it has the block and how it extends out. Ceiling, I don't think it's needed. Oop. Yeah, that's a nasty trick there. You don't even see it. It's like tucked underneath. That could cause some grief. well, I'll keep this one short too. This will be part 2, and I'll get it copied and pasted over one side to the other before I start with part 3 on this. Part 3, I'm gonna try to get in some of the interior, probably down on this floor, harden this thing up, especially hitting the area that you would enter the base at, and probably start detailing small parts like these, or even come up with a better design for what these are, and then start copying and pasting those around. It shouldn't be a real long build though. I mean, I'll give it credit for that. It's a little definitely smaller than the hangar that was recently done, and a lot of things that can be copied pasted. So we'll see how it goes, but hope you enjoyed this, and have a good day all.